Good morning and welcome to a special edition of Wake and Bake with me, Joey Blaze. We are live from my car, just chilling, about to head out for a work day. But before we start the work week, let's take a look back at the weekend that was. Beginning, first off, Saturday evening, a 4 o'clock kickoff as it was the Franklin County Tigers and the Brunswick Railroaders. And let me tell you, what an instant classic it was. Brunswick, Franklin County, that game is available on YouTube in a condensed 17-minute format. Features every single play from start to finish. Be sure to check that out. Franklin County, Brunswick, what a game, what a battle. We look forward to more Railroader football in these next couple of months, hopefully, as we await the fate of the TFL. And more on that in a couple minutes, because there's a lot of things I have to talk about this morning. But yeah, final score of that one, 13-12, Tigers over the Railroaders. I believe it was Martin Grant with the game-winning reception, which questionable call by Brunswick with the coverage there. I'm not sure what they were going for, but it backfired horrendously, and as a result, the Tigers capitalized and they pulled out the victory. So congratulations, Franklin County, on the dub. You guys are victorious. For Brunswick, that is their first loss in a tackle game officially. That is their first loss. You can say exhibition, but, you know, so were the other two games. In this case, Brunswick goes down, and how strange it was, they actually measured up. People did not expect that. A lot of people were hating on Brunswick last week around this time. A lot of people thought the Railroaders were going to be the assassins. And I don't mean the TFL assassins. I mean the Brunswick assassins. However, the Railroaders went out and they almost assassinated the Tigers. So, truthfully, looking at it, this Brunswick team has a lot to offer. And if there is a TFL season, look out, because we might have just seen a preview of the championship game. Second matter of the weekend, 5-man. Let's go over 5-man real quick. You know what? It would be helpful if I shared this on a different pages. Oh, no battery. Oh well. I can't really share it. Never mind. Back to 5-man. I was going to share it on my other phone, but then I saw it was dead and the charger's in the house, so I'm not getting it. So let's go back to 5-man real quick. And if anybody wants to call in this morning, feel free to do so. We're taking calls till the time I leave, which could be any time, because I kind of a flexible position right now at work, so I can wait a little bit. Let's talk about 5-man yesterday, beginning with the first game, Warriors over the Immortals. This game just wasn't close. The Immortals couldn't move the ball. The Warriors had their struggles, but they figured it out, and in the end, they were victorious, so they won 20-0 there. Green Machine program, I've yet to edit this game. I'm about to work on it soon. That's the next game on the queue. I just finished Warriors Immortals. That game's being uploaded to YouTube right now. The next game was Green Machine program. And from what I was told, this one was just ugly. Program 27-2 over Green Machine. The Cramley came in loaded for this tournament, and they showed how powerful they truly were in that first game with a very convincing victory over the Green Machine. In the next game, 9:30, Warriors Spartans. Warriors victorious 8-7. Oh man. The importance of the quarterback-center exchange. Keenan Pooler dropping the snap on a low pitch to him in the end zone. As a result, it was a safety. And as a result, the Warriors got the points they needed. In a game where the Spartans, truthfully, were outplaying them for most of it. But in the end, it was the Warriors who won. They pulled it out. Result, they earned 2-0 for the day. The other 9:30 game, Killer Bees were victorious over the Green Machine, 20-0. Another game that just wasn't close. There is no footage of this one as far as I know. The Bees may have taken it. So if so, please release that footage. That'd be great. I'd love to see the Bees Green Machine game in its entirety, as well as the Bees Warriors game. As I'll mention now, I didn't get a chance to film though because I was busy taking care of some stuff. The 10 a.m. games were first and foremost. I was trying to remember. Spartans over the Immortals for the moment, but it wasn't very close. Immortals just did not have much yesterday. I'm not sure how it was going to work out for them, but if yesterday is any indication, early in the relationship, you don't want to end something too prematurely. You got to stick together and see how it grows, but that team just... Overall, the Immortals lacked a lot yesterday, and it showed in the results. Warriors game, not very close. Spartans game wasn't very close. They would be eliminated in the wild card round by the Killer Bees in a game that was just so lopsided. That was a 35-0 victory, and I didn't mention the result. Bees lost to the program prior 12-6 in a game that gave the program the #1 overall seed. But the Killer Bees destroyed the Immortals, and this was the start of a hot run for the Bees. They started it out by beating them 35-0. Absolute annihilation. The most lopsided 5-man game I ever watched. 35-0 was the result, just not close at all. Bees just buried the Immortals. They might as well be the Mortals at this point, or just call themselves the Browns, because it's not the Immortals of old. Going over to the other wild card matchup, it was Green Machine versus the Spartans, and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but from what Ross was telling me, it was ugly. Spartans just, they had their way with the Green Machine. The Green Machine yesterday had no offense and no defense. They scored, I believe, 2 or 3 times, but they were all on safeties. From what I was told, they didn't score at all against Spartans. I know they didn't score against Bees, and they scored a safety against Program, but that's it. Green Machine, you could tell these guys haven't played in months. You could tell they were rusty. And it was a team full of guys that were just coming back to flag for the first time in a while. This was the first competitive match they've had since March. And what has become what I've dubbed the Uncut League, they are very, very far back right now for the rest of the competition. And a lot of that is because the competition has been playing. We've played every single week since May. Some of us have played since March. And don't stop. But, you know, I think Green Machine will bounce back. They need time to get it together. That team just looked like they were new to the game. They were fresh out of quarantine, and you could tell. I haven't watched their film yet. I've just gotten secondhand word. The stuff I have seen, though, when I was standing there, it didn't look good. So Spartans eliminate Green Machine. Killer Bees eliminate the Immortals. Semifinals, Killer Bees Warriors. Bees jumped out to a massive lead in this game. They were up by over 20 in this one. The Warriors were getting destroyed. It did not look pretty. And then the Warriors, they rallied back. They actually pulled off a decent comeback in the second half and got within a score, but in the end, the Bees just pulled it out. They escaped. They flew away, and as a result, the Warriors went down. Bees victorious. They head to the finals. Spartans program. This was a game where the program had it won. The program had this game won. TJ Williams comes in at quarterback, scores the go-ahead touchdown, gives them the lead over the Spartans. Spartans failed to score in the next drive. There's about a minute left, Program has the ball, and if you have the ball with under a minute to go with a lead in 5-man, chances are you're going to win. Because the clock runs fast. You have the ball. You can do what you want. You just can't do anything like turn the ball over, and that's what they did. And what was a very questionable decision, Program put Ant back in at quarterback. Ant takes a safety, essentially. He doesn't really... He holds the ball on for too long. As a result, he gets sacked. That pulls the Spartans within 3. Spartans get the ball back. They drive down the field. They score. They win the game. The Program had that game won. They had it won. And they pulled defeat from the jaws of victory. Or something like that. I don't know what the exact saying is. I'm just saying it. The Cramley goes down. The Warriors go down. The top seeds don't do very well in this tournament. And the bottoms, the guys who came in second in each of their bracket ended up being the ones to make the run to the championship. And that's where we get to the finals. B Spartans. What a game. What a game. And early on, it did not look good for the Killer Bees. The Spartans had the momentum. They were louder. They were hard. They were hitting hard. They were stopping plays. They were making moves. But they started to sputter on offense. That question mark of inability to finish games came back to bite the Spartans again. The inability to play both halves killed them again. The offense disappears after they go up 9-0. They were up 9-0 midway through the half. What happened? Absolute shutdown performance by the Killer Bees in the second half. The Killer Bees in the second half stepped it up. Orion, Lurie, and honestly, yesterday we watched Devin Redmond finally grow up as a quarterback. Lurie was berating him. He was tearing him down. He told him he's never won anything. Larry was saying some stuff that most men, if they hear that, would have just said, fuck this guy, I'm done. Most guys are like that. Most guys said, fuck it, I'm done. Because nobody wants to be yelled at, especially in rec league football. But Devin took it. He ran with it. He came out in the second half against the Spartans and put up 18 points. With a little help from Lurie and Orion Jones in what was an absolute magnificent come-from-behind victory. 18-9 was the final. Extra point was not done at the end. The Killer Bees are your NEN tournament champions. What a performance by the Bees. You go back and you look over what they did. In the beginning, they destroyed the Green Machine. They lost to the Program in a game where they were struggling. That was where the issues were rearing their heads. That's where a lot of the yelling started, with Lurie yelling at Devin. And that's where Mike Wallace came in. Yeah, Broadaxe's Mike Wallace came in and played quarterback. Now playing for the Bees. He took over. And you had to question where Devin was heading at that point. I mean, he had just lost the job. He's usually their 9-man guy. And I get it, 5-man's a different game. But Devin stepped up. He turned it around. The Bees destroyed, and I mean destroyed the Immortals. Buried them. Then they went on to beat the Warriors, carrying that same energy. And then the championship, the Spartans had them on the ropes, but the Bees fought back and stung them in that second half. 18 unanswered to end the game. 18 unanswered on that Spartans defense. What a performance. What a comeback. A big-time shout-out to the Killer Bees. I know a couple of them are watching right now. I see y'all, Eric and BJ. I don't know who else is watching. I'm actually about to check. I appreciate y'all. Great performance out there yesterday in the NEN tournament. I see Elliot Greenberg is watching. Hey, Elliot, shout out for the win yesterday over at Summer Jam. That's a big victory. Congratulations to Main Event once again. Big shout out to Main Event. He stepped out? Okay, they signaled touchdown. That's why I thought it was 18. So if it was 12, that's fine. Because, like, Kent signaled touchdown. Or not Kent, somebody did. I can't remember anymore. So it was 12? That's fine. Okay, 12-9? I'll live with that. Because they just seemed like they ended the game straight up and assumed he scored. So I just thought he did too. But, no, big-time shout-out to the big winners. Franklin County Tigers, Killer Bees, and Main Event for this weekend. Looking forward to more football next weekend. We got more coming. Where am I going to be at? That's where we're talking at the weekend forecast. Let's go over that real quick. So, currently I'm free all weekend. I actually have no games. I have no gigs. I truthfully wanted to go to the Corona Classic. But the thing was, they have, and by New York State law, I cannot attend the event. From what I've been reading, which is heartbreaking because I actually was legitimately looking forward to that. Like, as soon as they announced that, I told everybody in my circle, I'm like, I got to go to this. Like, that's the first big tournament back. Unfortunately, I can't because I'm a Maryland resident. I mean, I could try to sneak in, but I don't know how good of an idea that is. That, and I don't have a room. It's funny, my sister is actually a New York resident. So maybe I could just move in with her and just say I live in New York for the weekend. Maybe I could do that. Maybe they'll accept that. I don't know how far New Rochelle is from New York City, but it'd be worth a shot, I guess. But yeah, I wanted to go to that, but they have a lot of restrictions, so that throws it off. Brunswick does not play this weekend, so I have no semi-pro commitment. I'm just free all weekend. It's kind of weird to think about. I'm never usually without a gig on the weekends. I know a couple teams are taking off this weekend. Seems like a good weekend for a bye week because we have a lot going on. A lot going on that little people know about. So, let's get to the serious topics here. First and foremost, this might as well be Fate Week. The fate of our fall season lies in the hands of this week. Here's what's going on. KFFL is set to have a meeting on Thursday night. And when I say it, I mean we're having a meeting with the Shippensburg Parks and Rec Committee. That it will be when we find out about a fall season. Right now, we are trying to make a strong case for it. We are making as strong as a case as we can. We're going to talk it over with them. We're going to see what they are requiring. We're going to do what we can to make sure we have this league. I'll be sitting in on the call. Along with Tyler Fairchild and the rest of the Parks and Rec Committee. I look forward to it. I'm going to do my due diligence. And as soon as we know, we will get together to put together the league. We have a plan set up. We have a start date. August 16th was supposed to be kickoff. Now, whether or not we do that depends on what they ask of us and what happens on Thursday. I would love to still kick off August 16th. I think it's a strong possibility. But the fate of the KFFL is in the hands of the Parks and Rec Committee. And ultimately, as our landlords, they have the final call on the field. So we'll find out. Washington County, I've gotten word that they are set to meet with the Park and Rec Committee up in Marty Snook to see what's being asked for a fall season there. If it all works out, August 29th is scheduled for kickoff. We'll be back in league ball. But it all depends on what's going on in Maryland. Feels like the rules change every other week. We don't know what we're going to get. When it comes to this, Washington County and Keystone are both in the same purgatory. Same for the TFL. The TFL is in an even worse predicament because the TFL stretches from Franklin County all the way down to Richmond. It's a hell of a footprint. And it's not like they all play at one field. All these semi-pro teams, they play at different fields. And a lot of those teams at PG and Virginia, they're struggling to find a facility. You got to find one. So TFL, that's up in the air this week. So we got a big week ahead of us for football off the field. Might as well call it a vacation week. Focus on what we could do off the field and hope that we could build something on the field. That's what we are looking forward to for this week. A couple other things worth noting. There will be a new Blunt Talk this week. We are covering the Corona Classic. To the best of my ability, I am going to cover the event. I might even remotely cover it from my house if I have to. Because that would make it a lot more easier than anything else. I would love to be there, but like I said, they restricted the New York residents, so I'm not a New York resident, obviously. Other than that, anything else going on? Videos, yeah. Want to give a shout out, Joe Aloisi, 100 subscriber on YouTube. Got the email the other day. He was confirmed to be my 100 subscriber. 900 more, and I can do live streaming on YouTube, guys. Keep subscribing to the Joey Blaze page. Because pretty soon, I'm going to love to do some live games in a whole other format and some live shows. Because there's so much more we can do than Facebook. Unfortunately, YouTube says you got to have 1,000 subscribers because I don't fucking know. So here's also what we're looking at. Videos are coming out. Warriors and Mortals are uploading. The next game I'm working on is going to be Green Machine Program. And then it's going to be Warrior Spartans. I don't have film of Program Bees. Then after that, it's Spartans and Mortals. And then Killer Bee. No, wait, no. I might have Killer Bees program footage. Hold on. I think Ross shot that game. Yeah, Ross did. I don't have Green Machine Bees footage is what I'm missing. We shot mostly all the games yesterday. The only one I didn't do was the semis, and that's because I had to do something else, and I had about 1,000 excuses as to why I didn't do the semis, you know. Oh, by the way, if anybody knows where a USB-C cable is that fell out of my pocket and landed on the ground and no one ever asked about it or gave it back, please let me know, because, like, I don't want to buy a new 6-foot cable. I need one, though, for live streaming, because the short-ass cables don't help when you're trying to live stream. I like to have something that extends so I can put it in my pocket and just hold it up like this. So if anybody finds that, let me know. Otherwise, a couple YouTube channels to subscribe to. Brunswick Railroader Semi-Pro, home of all the Brunswick games. You can watch the Alumni Bowl all the Alumni Bowls are on there except for 2. Somebody please give me footage of the second one, because that's the only one I haven't edited yet. Keystone Flag Football League, Washington County Flag Football League, Joey Blaze, and of course, follow the Blunt Talk page. We will have a new episode of Blunt Talk this week. Like I said, we're covering Corona Classic. Nothing else going on this weekend. We have it's Fate Week basically for KFFL, TFL, and County. We'll learn a lot this week. We'll see, fellas. One step at a time. We never know when we're going to play our last game. We're just going to keep on till we are told to stop. And trust me, I don't plan to stop. Shout out to the fairgrounds once again for letting us do our thing there. Kind of crazy. At one point, we fought flag football and Hagerstown was dead. But they show it's alive and well and appreciate us of every passing week. And I appreciate them, man. They're good peoples. Really good peoples. Appreciate them. All right. Unless somebody has something to say, I'm done. I got nothing else to talk about. So, to the next episode, I'm Joey Blaze. We'll see you soon.